take it up a notch. You can also cascade triggers and actions or chain them together. So it starts off with one trigger, which then causes an action to happen. And then usually what happens is when an action is done, that application will send back some information and say, hey, look, we got some more stuff. And then you can take further action. So that'll trigger something else and take further actions based on that. So you get this kind of trigger action thing happening. And so for this example, what we're going to do is we're going to simulate the scenario of when a student enrolls on your website. They fill out the enrollment form, and then what you do is you issue them an invoice automatically, and we're using Xero for that. And then we're going to use Trello as kind of like a task management system so that we can nurture the new student through the enrollment process. And we're going to notify our team in Slack, which is a messaging tool that teams use to communicate. And I think this is really great because it reduces a ton of data entry. If you're still manually copying and pasting from forms or heaven forbid, typing in paper-based enrollment forms, let me know. I want to help you out with that, because we don't do this for a living. We're an RTO. We're more interested in things like the TAE. But if you really are in that sort of manual phase, it's well worth putting in place something like this, investing the time, because it will save you a lot of time. So it reduces data entry, improves team communication and awareness, because everyone knows what's going on, who's enrolled, and it allows quicker action to be taken. It allows this connection with your students sooner, and that's a huge benefit. So they're not waiting around while all this admin stuff happens in the back end. So let's take a look. In this example, we're taking a trigger from our enrollment form. In this one, we're using WordPress and a plugin for WordPress called Gravity Forms. Very common way to build your website and collect form data. So that's how our enrollment form is set up. And this will be our trigger. So we've got everything all set up here and it's all authenticated and ready to go. We just need to select the form that we are going to pull the data from, and that's our enrollment form. So we put in here a feed name. We're just going to call it automated enrollment feed. And now we need to test our trigger. So to do this, of course, we need to go to the Excelia enrollment form. And as you know, with all the event miss data and everything else, these are rather complicated and long things. So I'm just going to breeze through this. Our student is Yahoo Serious, and we complete all the details here as if we were a student enrolling. Follow through all the steps, and here we are. We've just pressed submit, and now we need to see if our data has come through to Zapier. So we test trigger and success. So there's a lot of information that's come through here on the enrollment form, but this is really good because we can start to use this data in our action steps for our Zap. So the next thing we're going to do is use Xero. We're going to use Xero's connection with Zapier to create a sales invoice. So when someone enrolls, the first thing that it's going to do automatically is prepare an invoice for the student so that we don't have to do that. Now, for us, this is one of the ones that we've chosen to create it as a draft invoice. That means a human can just have one final look at it, make sure all the figures are okay before sending it out. So this is just like all the other steps that we've looked at, where you put all the data in, you pull the variables across from the trigger and fill that in. So I'm just glossing over this really quickly here, because I know that when you set up your own Zaps or however you do this, it will be different. You'll probably be using different apps. But this is just to demonstrate the fundamentals. So we've set up our action step, and now it's time to test and see what happens. So there's all our information, and we're going to send through our test and review what happens. And success. So let's have a look. We've got it here in Xero in another tab. It's just come through, and all the information's pulled through. TAE 40116 self-paced. We can see the learner. It's collected the correct information. So what our team would do from here is just press approve, and then that would send it through to the student. Now, next I'd like to talk about Trello. If you haven't used Trello, it's a really great system for organizing and collaborating around data in a really kind of simple and visual way, kind of like an in tray and an out tray you might have with traditional paper forms. And so we use it for all sorts of things, but one of the best ways that we use it is to nurture new students who've just joined us and basically manage their journey through the enrollment phases. And so you can see here, this is just a simple example. You might have a student and you have cards and you move the cards across each step, awaiting payment, induction and welcome, and settled into course. So that's going to be the next step in our automation, is to create a new card in Trello when someone enrolls. So the action is to create a card. And we're just choosing the account here. Again, it's been authenticated and Zapier is acting on my behalf. And we choose all the variables here, like we're going to put it into the onboarding board, and list is just enrolled. And we're going to pull some data from Gravity from our enrollment form. So put in the first name, don't forget the space, and then we put in the surname, last name, and just some basic information so that we can easily identify who the student is. Again, this data will change every time a different person enrolls, of course. And self-paced online. So we've got the name, the course, and the delivery method. And we can actually take these variables and we can copy and paste them in. So we'll just select all of these here and copy, and then we'll just paste it in. And then we can just make some minor edits here. So we're just going to add in the text. So Yahoo Serious, or the learner's name, has just enrolled into the course name and the delivery method. Now we're going to put some invoice data in here. So they've been invoiced, and again now we're using data from the other steps. So that was an action step, but we're also using that as a trigger, with some trigger data. So we have here we're grabbing the information on the invoice, like the invoice number. You might want to put things like the date it was issued, the invoice number. You can put in the final amount. So we're just popping all that in there. And so you can just add extra text in there as you wish. We're going to put it at the top, and a due date. And this is really cool. We can just say 1 day from today, and Zapier will figure out the rest for us. And now we need to do our test. And the test was successful. Let's have a look at what it looks like once it's in Trello. So here we go. We've got just enrolled, Yahoo Serious, TAE 4116, self-paced, and we've got a due date here. That's come across nicely, tomorrow. And all of that data that we put in there is there waiting for us. So we can all work together around Yahoo Serious's enrollment process. And then we move him into awaiting payment, and then induction and welcome process, and then settled into course and happily learning. So now we're adding another step. So you can just keep chaining these steps like this. We're going to use Slack because we want our team, we want everyone to know that someone's just enrolled in a course every time it happens. We're going to send a channel message. We just continue through the steps, same process. We've already authenticated it. And we've got a special channel for our enrollment announcements. So Excelia enrollments. And now we need to set up our message text. This is what will actually be pushed through as a message in Slack. So, hey everyone, heads up, we just got a new enrollment from, and then we grab the data from our previous steps. So the example here, the test data is Yahoo Serious. Because it's Slack, we can use some playful kind of language they enrolled into. We can put the course code, and I think we'll put in, we'll add a space there, and we'll put in the invoice number, so that way we can quickly check and see what the invoice was. The invoice number is that, That'll change every time. And we can also create a link. So when we've created the card in Trello, it will actually give us a URL that we can use that's unique to each card. So we can say, check out their onboarding card. And of course, you can use emojis. So we'll pop a little emoji in there, thumbs up, and maybe because we love our students, we'll put some love heart eyes in there too. There we go. And just set up a few other little things here. We're going to send it as a bot, and we're going to call it Xero Enrolment's bot. Fill all the other stuff in there. You can have a play with that and see what works for you. And continue. We do our test, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I can see a notification's popped up there, and it's telling me that a test was successful. Let's have a look at our Slack channel. Okay, here we go. Xero Enrolment's bot. Heads up. We've just got an enrollment from Yahoo Serious, and you can see it's pulled all the data there, and we have our link to Trello, our emojis as well, and we can have a look at the card that's just come through. Don't forget to turn on your Zap, and now it will run every time someone fills out the enrollment form and update and change that data. And there it is. You can see it all set up there, all the steps from the trigger right through to the final action.